20s, my late teens and 20s, I spent in Massachusetts, which is very liberal. I would consider myself a 80s, 90s Democrat.
Have you changed over time politically?
No, I haven't changed.
So you remain a kind of center-left Democrat?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Do you talk politics with Trump, or did you before the first convention?
No.
That wasn't a currency of your conversation, of your relationship.
If you look at any of my speeches,
something isn't adding up here. Dana White wants you to believe two things at the same time. First, that he's a center-left Democrat. And second, that Donald Trump, the man he's repeatedly defended on some of the biggest political stages in America, has been completely mischaracterized by his critics. But that's where things get interesting. Because when David Remnick sits down with Dana White, he starts asking some very direct questions about Trump, race, and Dana's close relationship with him. And once the pressure starts building, some of the answers become very difficult to ignore. Before we get into the full story, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. And make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next.
At the conventions or any of that, I don't ever say the left is wrong or the left is bad or the left is this. I spoke about who he is as a person and as a friend and as a human being, because a lot of the narrative that they put out there about him and who he is as a person is gross.
But
absolutely positively not true.
Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit too. I think it's fair to say that if he has that reputation, it doesn't come from outer space.
Oh, it does. It comes from politics. That's where it comes from.
Doesn't it come from some of his rhetoric and some of his way of treating people and talking about people?
No, I think that, listen, did I wish that back in the day he'd stay off Twitter a little bit more and things like, listen, he's a tough guy and he's not afraid to give his opinion, but he's been talking about politics since he was young. I mean, if you look back at him, but these things that he's a racist and he's a Nazi and he's this and that. I mean, Donald Trump, all this stuff's coming out now. The Michael movie just came out, and you see all these videos now popping up of Trump defending Michael Jackson and the type of person that he was, and that Michael Jackson was around his children and around his family a lot.
Wait a minute, Dana. Michael Jackson, as talented as he was, as brilliant as he was a deeply, deeply flawed human being, to say the least, and was abusive. Everything we know about him.
Wait. He was
toward
abusive?
Kids. Yes, it's terrible.
I don't know if that's true. But I can tell you that, the president had a very good relationship with Michael Jackson and had Michael Jackson around his kids all the time and, defended him when that stuff was going down.
Do you ever talk politics with the president?
To call the guy a racist is crazy. He's not a racist.
Well, look, I don't want to go on endlessly about Donald Trump because, then that's all we'll do. But when he puts out a video that shows the Obamas as apes and then won't even apologize for it, you don't get the willies from that?
No, I've been around the guy so much,
but that doesn't give you pause, Dana?
As far as what?
About his views just about his way he talks about other human beings, much less race.
But if that's the way if he was that type of a person, first of all, I became friends with this guy, never even imagining that he would be the president of the United States someday.
Right.
And if he was that type of person, I would never associate with that type of a person, no matter who he was or who he thinks he is.
But if he does that, how is he not that kind of person?
He's not.
But do you know something that I know? In other words, what you're telling me is that you kind of know, of course you know him better personally, but he's the most transparent personality we have in public life. He talks to the press all the time. He's on social media all the time. It seems sometimes there's nothing that we don't know about him.
Very true.
So he's almost as apparent to me as he is to you.
And I don't know about the Obama thing to speak. To speak on it. I've never seen it. I didn't know that, but I can tell you this: he's not a racist. He's not a fascist. He loves this country, and if you're an American, race, religion, whatever it is, President Trump is on your team.
This was a rough segment for Dana White. The entire interview seemed to revolve around one major contradiction that became harder and harder to ignore. On one hand, Dana describes himself as a center-left Democrat. On the other, he struggles to offer even a single meaningful criticism of Donald Trump. And that's where viewers are going to start asking questions. If you're politically independent or center-left, surely there has to be something you disagree with after nearly a decade of nonstop political controversy. Then there's the "I've never seen it" defense. That's the part that really raised eyebrows. Dana White is one of the most recognizable figures in America and someone who is constantly plugged into media and public discourse. So when a major controversy comes up and the response is, "I never saw it," a lot of people are naturally going to be skeptical. What made David Remnick's point effective was how simple it was. He essentially argued that public reputations don't just appear out of nowhere. They are shaped by years of public statements, interviews, social media posts, and political battles. Whether you agree with that reputation or not, it's not something that simply materialized overnight. And then came the Michael Jackson argument, which felt like a strange detour. Being associated with people from different backgrounds or having friendships across racial lines doesn't automatically settle every question people may have about someone's public comments or political rhetoric. Those are separate conversations. At the end of the day, what stood out most wasn't necessarily what Dana White said, it was what he didn't say. There seemed to be an unwillingness to acknowledge any flaw, any mistake, or any moment where Trump may have crossed a line. And when that happens, critics begin to wonder whether this is objective analysis or simply loyalty taking priority over everything else. That's why this interview drew so much attention. It wasn't just about Trump, it was about whether someone can present themselves as politically moderate while defending one political figure at every turn. And for many viewers, Dana White didn't do much to resolve that contradiction. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.